Love to kick off with AI. Now, what's your take on where we are in the AI race just now?
Wow, that's a long answer. There's so much happening in it. AI is the fastest advancing technology that I've ever seen of any kind, and I've seen a lot of technology. Barely a week goes by without some new announcement. So, and if you look at the amount of AI hardware, the computers coming online that are dedicated to AI, that is increasing what looks like at least by a factor of 10 every year, if not every 6 to 9 months.
Mm.
So when you combine the hardware coming online, really order of magnitude increase every, call it at least every 9 months, and many, many software breakthroughs. If you look at that curve, it looks insane. So I think we'll. My guess is that we'll have AI that is smarter than any one human, probably around the end of next year, and then AI, the total amount of sort of sentient compute of AI, I think will probably exceed all humans in 5 years.
What's the biggest challenge you have with XAI?
Well, XAI is still relatively new, so it's not you know, like the limiting factor right now is just training our Grok version 2 model, which should be, we think, better than GPT-4, and we're hoping to complete that in May. So that's training right now. So it's just really we're just trying to get enough GPUs online to train it fast enough to get that done in May, which I think probably will happen.
Mm.
And that's with roughly 20,000 H100s, and doing, I think, very efficient training. Then the next step would be for Grok 3, which would be, I guess, GPT-5 or beyond, requires 100,000 NVIDIA H100s training coherently. So that's, a half order of magnitude, basically, more training. And then you really start to have running into this data problem where you have to either create synthetic data or use real world video. Those are the two sources of kind of like unlimited data are synthetic data and real world video, which I should say Tesla has a pretty big advantage in real world video. Tesla has by far the most real world video of anyone.
Yeah, you've got a huge library there. So when do you think? We'll see proper AGI?
Well, it depends on how you define AGI. If you define AGI as smarter than the smartest human, I think it's probably end of next year, like within 2 years.
In a recent episode of the In Good Company podcast, hosted by Nikolai Tangin, Elon Musk made a huge revelation, and we think that it could shake up the world of chips, robots, and self-driving cars. We'll leave the link to the episode in the description if you want to check it out yourself, but what you should know is that Elon predicted the development of an AI model that will be smarter than the smartest human probably by next year, or by 2026. That is Elon's stance on AI, but what does it mean for Tesla and Tesla stock investors? Let's find out. But before we do that, if you want to keep up with Tesla's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
What is the race about just now? Is it algorithms? Is it people? Is it computing power? What is it about just now? Is it the supply of chips? Just what is it?
Yeah, last year it was chip constrained, and the hardware deployment. If you break it down into the three areas of people, data, and hardware, starting with hardware, last year it was about a chip supply. People could not get enough NVIDIA chips, particularly. This year it's starting to transition to a voltage transformer supply, so just actually getting enough voltage transformers put in place. So my sort of very niche joke is transformers for transformers, because a lot of the AI that's run is called a transformer. So you need transformers to run transformers. And then next, if you look out a year or two, or certainly 3 years, it's just electricity availability. So those are the constraints on the hardware side. So many of the world's smartest people are doing AI. People that would have done physics before, in fact, or have done physics, for example, have moved into AI because it's just the fastest moving field. So we're seeing a lot of the best talent, a lot of the smartest humans going into AI. And then we see, along with that, algorithmic breakthroughs. And then you start hitting the wall with the data problem. So you can fit all books ever written, just the text in compressed form on one hard drive, or we'll call it one computer. So when you're looking at like so-called tokens to train on, and you, because you still think of like all the books ever written in all languages by all humans, sounds like a lot. Certainly, it's far more than any one human could ever read. It actually is a small number. It's a small number of training tokens. It's just not enough. So then you start having to look at all the videos ever created. All the podcasts, all the everything, and you start even running out of data there.
Well, hopefully they will include this podcast.
Definitely will include this podcast.
What's the biggest challenge you have with XAI?
Tesla is a name that is synonymous with sleek electric cars and the visionary leadership of Elon Musk. However, this company isn't planning to depend on just its EV business. In fact, it's also quietly building an unseen empire, an AI powerhouse that's fueling its self-driving ambitions. Artificial intelligence has quickly become very significant to businesses because of how it impacts computing. Through AI, computers gain the ability to harness massive amounts of data and use it to learn and then to make optimal decisions and discoveries in lesser amounts of time than it would take humans. It also drives down the time taken to perform a task by enabling multitasking and also easing the workload for existing resources. This way, it enables the execution of complex tasks and saves costs that would have been needed to hire human labor. Today, we're going to explore how Tesla is leveraging its cutting-edge AI technologies and overcoming the hurdles on the path to self-driving dominance. We'll also explore Elon Musk's shocking comments about AI, as well as what they mean for Tesla investors. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
Tesla will now avoid a months-long trial around its self-driving technology, just months ahead of its robotaxi launch, which Musk says is coming on August 8th. In the meantime, Tesla co-founder and former CEO Martin Eberhard told investors at an HSBC summit in Hong Kong overnight that he is amazed, in his words, that Tesla gets away with rolling out autonomous driving given its history of fatal accidents. Again, those were in his words on this. The stock was up about 5% just on the idea that robo-taxis are coming in August, and that's something that we're going to be talking about right now. Joining us to discuss this is Tom Narayan, who is Global Autos Analyst at RBC Capital Markets. Tom, thanks for coming in today. Sure. So this was pretty big news as far as the market was concerned, the idea of these robo-taxis actually having a date.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a surprise, but I don't think it was a surprise for investors who are long Tesla stock, or certainly sell-side analysts who have buy ratings on it. It's about 60% of my valuation, and has been for over a year, is robo-taxis, or really it's autonomy. So that includes FSD to some extent. Right. So yeah, I don't think it was totally
full self-driving for those uninitiated on the FSD.
Right. It's like a level 2 plus assisted driving. And then robo-taxi is completely level 4, drives you completely.
The idea that it's coming in August, does that hinge on that valuation too? Or is this something that you could be a little flexible with that timeline? Because that's been the knock before, that timelines are laid out and then not met. If that timeline's not met, do you still think the same thing about your valuation call?
Yeah, I do. I mean, my valuation's based on a 2040 year revenue target, and then I discount that back and I apply a multiple there. Similar to FSD, which is like a 2030, 2035. I mean, if it's August 8th, 2024, if it's next year, I mean, robotaxis aren't going to be mainstream for a long while.
Right.
I do see why he's doing it, where, I mean, he's trying to highlight the value of, that this could bring. It's huge, right?
But when do you think it could actually roll out on the streets?
We have a robotaxi service in San Francisco with Cruise and Waymo, right? I don't think it's going to be in some big scale anytime soon.
Right, but the difference, I'm curious if you agree with this. There is a view among those in the sort of engineering community that the reason why the Waymo and Cruise products work is because they use LiDAR right now. You roll your eyes, but I'm just saying this is the whole thing. Yeah. LiDAR, by the way, is effectively like a laser that's pointed at different places, and that gives you feedback about what's actually around you. Elon has decided he wants to do this solely with cameras and without the radar. It's just a completely different approach. And as a result, there are some people who have a view that that is not fully ready for full prime time, full self-driving. Right. And that's the whole question. And so my question to you is, do you believe that the robotaxi version of the Tesla is running solely on cameras, or somehow is a shift in strategy?
I could envision him pushing cameras initially. That's what FSD is based on. Could he capitulate on that and pivot towards using LiDAR eventually? Sure. Right. I mean, he's changed his mind before on things.
That's a longer delay, though, just in terms of getting things out on the street. If you're going
I mean, it could depend on where we have this product. Is it geofenced? What cities? Where is it? Initially. But at mass scale, we've heard Mobileye is a company that has a product that's building with VW, the ID Buzz, that uses LiDAR. So, I mean, we'll see. It adds a layer of redundancy. Theoretically, it's not 100% necessary. But yeah, it depends. You'll have to re-engineer cities to make this work in the future. You can't drive.
Re-engineer cities how?
Well, like, imagine a robotaxi in the Champs-Élysées right now, right? The Arc de Triomphe. It's impossible.
Elon says that we can expect an artificial general intelligence, or AGI, that is smarter than the smartest human in just a year or two from now. So, what does this mean for companies like Tesla, which have their valuations deeply connected to AI? And how will this improve these companies overall? Elon has long been vocal about artificial intelligence and what it could do for humanity in the future. In a previous discussion that he had with Peter Diamandis, Elon revealed that AI compute is increasing by 10x every 6 months, adding that there will be gigawatt power for clusters in 2025. For Tesla, this means faster development of its FSD technology, which is the company's main AI offering. AI needs to be fed tons of data to see the world, make decisions, and improve. However, processing that data is quite the slow crawl. But according to Elon, things are changing faster than expected. With AI compute supposedly growing by a crazy 10x every 6 months, AI systems are being given superhuman vision. And that is a game changer for a company like Tesla that is all in on self-driving tech. Tesla has more than 4 million vehicles on the road, which allows it to gather driving data from real-world situations. The company's FSD software learns from this data and keeps improving itself to reach full autonomy, and it looks like Tesla is getting very close to this goal. Developing self-driving cars is like tweaking a recipe. One has to constantly test, analyze, and adjust. Generally, this process was slow because processing data took forever. But with this AI boom, Tesla can iterate much faster. It can test new algorithms, see how they perform, and refine them quicker, leading to a faster path towards a seamless self-driving experience. Tesla's AI prospects are what keep many retail and institutional investors bullish on the company, and just like Elon, Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are also quite bullish on the future of artificial intelligence. Wood, who is a high-profile, innovation-focused investor, had highlighted the importance of AI and the convergence of technology platforms in ARK's Big Ideas 2023 investor report. This report stated that AI is catalyzing all kinds of changes in several industries, and investors are yet to do enough research on how profound this impact is going to be. Even the market is scrambling to try and understand how AI is going to impact the world. Interestingly, ARK's report projects some big numbers for the future. For example, it says that AI should increase the productivity of knowledge workers more than fourfold by 2030. And at a 100% adoption, AI could increase global labor productivity to about $200 trillion compared to the $32 trillion in total knowledge worker salaries. Cathie Wood has been looking out for companies that integrate artificial intelligence and data analytics into their operations. And Tesla, which is her ETF's top holding, has one of the largest pools of real-world driving data in the world and is poised to lead the AI revolution in the auto industry.
We're talking Tesla. It's been in the news. It seems like we're talking about it every day. Stock down nearly 30%. Kevin, they settled this crash that they have with their autopilot. Then Morgan Stanley comes out and Goldman Sachs lowers the price target on it. It's just one thing after the other, but the stock's actually up today.
It depends where your pressure point is on Tesla, right? Is it all about EV, or are you looking to the future in the pipeline and how robotaxi will change, the complexion of this company? So, but robotaxi's not right now, right? Investors in this market, as we know it, high frequency trading, they want things right now, and so it's tricky to watch Tesla and take a long-term view or a short-term view. And so, like even Dan Ives, put away his pom-poms on Tesla for a little while. So we're in a tricky place right now, that's for sure, in Tesla. But that being said, from a trading perspective, it's awesome. It's all over the board trading. So trading-wise, it's great.
Yep. If you like movement, you like volatility.
We like movement, Nathan.
Nathan, when you look at this stock, and I think back to about a year and a half, 2 years ago, all these auto companies coming out with these these projections on when they're going to be all EV, the ramp up, the investment that they're doing. And then I looked at Toyota and I looked at Honda, two of the biggest car companies in the world, kind of pushing back, sitting back in their seat going, yeah, we'll get to EVs eventually. And that is what is winning in this market. It's hybrids, and they're right. It seems like everybody's pulling back on EV investments at this point and trying to go into more hybrids, which is hurting Tesla.
Yeah, it seems like Tesla was trying to, move too far too fast in terms of penetrating, the global auto market here with EV. I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, you would think from a cost standpoint, as technology improves and in terms of, energy consumption, be it electricity or CH4s, I think that, there is something to be said for EV. So on the bullish side, you could say that the EV penetration is low and that longer term story is there. You could say also, hey, the stock's down 25% year to date. Whenever something like this has happened with Tesla in the past, maybe it represents an opportunity where everything is priced in. To Kevin's point, robotaxis and full self-driving, FSD, those are two big areas where Cathie Wood tends to think there's going to be growth there. So that's the bullish side. But on the bearish side, it's a little bit easy. Technicals are bearish. The analyst community is all over them. Their their delivery numbers were terrible, and they have an inventory glut on their Model Ys. They're cutting prices, $5,000 or $7,000 on the rear-wheel drive Model Ys to clear that inventory. So margins are going to be an issue when you're lowering prices like that. And the other thing, when you're cutting prices, and Tesla has done this multiple times over the past 18 months, if you're a consumer and you're waiting to buy an EV, it's that deflationary postponement of your purchase because you're going to be lowering prices. So you don't want to get caught in one of those deflationary price-cutting type spirals with Tesla, but it speaks to that competition that the company is facing. So, I think Kevin kind of nailed it. I think longer term, you could point to a couple things that could leave you bullish on the name, but near term, man, those analysts are really getting up on the stock right now.
Tesla's FSD software is the perfect example of AI at work in real life. Tesla plans to make its cars fully autonomous in the near future, reaching a milestone that all other EV companies can only dream of at the moment, and analysts have found this quite impressive. In fact, it was recently reported that FSD version 12.3.4 started rolling out to Tesla employees. And while we don't know anything about this version because it's not available to the general public yet, the constant updates show that Tesla is committed to reaching full autonomy, maybe even by the end of this year. However, the major issue for Tesla, as well as other AI companies, will probably be the availability of chips. As Elon mentioned, training the Grok 2 model took about 20,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, and the Grok 3 model and beyond will require up to 100,000 NVIDIA H100 chips. This is quite huge and extremely costly, especially when you consider the fact that one H100 chip from NVIDIA costs around $36,000. Still, autonomous driving is Tesla's big target to maintain a competitive advantage that is unrivaled. Elon has said before that Chinese carmakers are the most competitive in the world and pose the toughest competitive challenges to Tesla, so for Tesla to maintain its lead, it needs to focus on what these Chinese companies don't have, which is AI. AI is one part of Tesla's business model that should not be ignored, and the company has made massive progress in AI over the years, and much more is expected in the near future. But here's the word of caution. Saying that AI compute will grow 10x every 6 months is quite a bold claim, and even Elon himself admits it. While AI advancements are undeniable, there might be some exaggeration in the 10x figure, so it's important to keep that in mind. However, overall, the game of AI development is moving at breakneck speed, and for Tesla, this means that its self-driving ambitions just got a significant boost, and who knows? The future of autonomous driving might be arriving sooner than we think. So what do you think of Elon Musk's comments about the future of AI? Let us know in the comments section. If you would like to know what Tesla has been up to these past few days, then go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.